Welcome back to Digital class, and now we're looking at the topic of volume of unit cube and views of solid. So now let's look at this volume of unit cube. Now imagine now I am given a 1 unit cube here. So I know that this is 1 unit, this side is 1 unit, this side is also 1 unit. That's why it is called a 1 unit cube. And since I know it's 1, 1, 1, then what is the volume of this? So I know that it would be what? 1 times 1 times 1. Because in order to find the volume of a cube, we times what? The width, the breadth, and the height. Okay, or you use the word length or whatever. So basically it's here, here, and here. Okay, and I know that 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. Okay, now this part, I know that here it will be 2 unit because 1 unit here, 1 unit here. So here will be 1 unit and here will be 1 unit. So I know the volume will be what? 2 times 1 times 1. So it will be 2 unit cube. Now, if we were to write the unit, it will be like this. If we were to write the unit, it will be like this. So now you will notice one very interesting thing. When I have 1 unit cube here, my volume is what? 1 unit cube. When I have 2 unit cube here, and I will have 2 unit cube. And that is what I want to actually remind you here today. The volume of the figure, which is this one, is actually the same as the number of 1 unit cubes. So what you are supposed to write here is equal. And the same things will go to this 1 cm cube and also 1 meter cube, because they are using what? 1. This is actually the key thing. Okay, let me just highlight this. Because this is actually a 1 unit cube, 1 cm cube, 1 meter cube, that's why the volume will be 1 cm cube. And the volume here will be 2 cm cube. The volume here will be 1 meter cube. The volume here will be 2 meter cube. When there's 1, here will be 1. Here 2, 2. So it's the same. When here's 1, here's 1. Here's 2, here's 2. It's the same. That is what I would like to actually share with you, okay, about this part. Now, if I were to give you an example, how about something like this? This is actually a cube. Now, I say that this is actually a 2 cm cube. Now, is it still the same? The number of the cubes and the volume of the figure? Let's try to find out. 2 cm cube means that here is 2 cm. 2 cm, here's 2 cm. And 2 times 2 times 2 gives you what? 8. And that will be 8 cm cube. Now, I only have 1 2 cm cube, but my volume will be 8 cm cube. This is 8. Is it the same? No. Okay, no. That's why this only actually happens when this is 1, 1, 1. Okay? This is something that's important to take note. But you might think that, teacher, but this is common sense, right? It's something simple. Okay? Why is it important to know? Now, if you look at the question, then you will notice, hey, this is something that's important to know. Now, here, the solid, example, this question, the solid below is made up of 1 cm cubes to form the letter H. What is the volume of the solid? Now, if you are asked to find the volume of the solid, is it possible for you to find what's the base, what's the width, what's the breadth, what's the height, all these things? It's difficult if you look at this. So what you can do is that, now, I know what? This is talking about 1 cm cube. And we are looking for the volume. And from here, what do I know? The volume of the figure is actually the number of the cubes. So what I need to do to find out the volume of the solid is I want to count how many cubes do I have here. Again, there are some cubes that you cannot be seen, but you know that it is there. Those cubes, you need to count it as well. I repeat, there are some cubes that's inside that I cannot see, but I still need to count it as well. Now, after you have counted, example, I've counted this Example, I can just count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. An example, I counted 24. Then the answer will be what? 24? No, it will be 24 cm cube. Okay, I should give you this cm cube actually. But now you know the number of cubes and the volume is actually the same in the case where it is 1 cm cube, where it is 1 unit cube, like this, or 1 meter cube. Okay, that is something important to take note. Now, another second scenario they might ask you is they are just building these unit cubes here, and they ask you how many unit cubes are there. I mean, for a question like this, the same thing, you just need to count. But again, the problem here is you must know that there are some cubes that cannot be seen inside, but it is there. You must count it as well. So for example, I have 1 here, 2 here, 3 here, 4 here. But on top of, at the bottom of these 2 cubes, you should notice that there should be another 2 there. Or else, how can you stack on top? Okay, correct. So that's why you must count the one on the bottom as well. Okay, again, important, you must count it as well. Okay, and you may face question like question 3. Here says what? The figure shows a rectangular glass box filled with some unit cubes. How many more cubes are needed to fill the box completely? Now, I have a box, I have something inside. How many more to add in to fill it completely? Now, that is where the word unit cube is very important. Unit cube means that it's a 1 unit cube. And now you need to find out how many unit do we have here. This is 1 unit, right? 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. How do you know? You count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's why here is 5 unit. How many unit are there? Again, 1 box, 2 box, 3 box. That's why it's 3 unit. How many box here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 unit. And teacher, why do we need to do this? Because what I want to do here is to find out 5 times 3 times 4. It is actually 60. So 5 times 4 times 3 is 60 unit cube. Okay, this is in the unit cube. Or basically, you can understand that I have 60 unit cubes here. And what do I need to do is I need to count here how many boxes here that I have. Then I minus. Then I will find out how many more cubes do I need to add in. That is how you solve this question. But some of you might be thinking, teacher, can I just count? I just add. Teacher, I add 1 more here. I add 1 more here. Then to fill in this side. Then I add. Can I not? Can I do that? Yes, you can do that. But of course, the tendency of making mistake is higher. Okay? So yeah, that's basically how the questions can be. And perhaps you can also look at question 6, where they actually do some very special trick, where they tell you now they have painted the whole thing here. How many faces they are actually painted? Have 3 of their faces painted, right? And again, that requires you to use your imagination to solve it. Okay? Yeah, that is basically for the first part for the unit cubes. Now, let's look at the second part, which is about the view of solid. Now, when we talk about a view of solid, you are given usually 3 views, okay? You have a solid here, there's a top view, there is a front view, there is a side view. Now, front is usually here, top is from top, side is from side. Now, if you are to ask, what is the front view of this solid? You must look at here, from this side. Just imagine you are turning to this side and look at this side. How many cubes do you have? I have 1 on top, 1 at the bottom. So you can shade. So again, what you're supposed to do is just to shade. You can just shade like this. Okay, I have 1 on top, 1 at the bottom. But at the bottom, there's something on the right. That's why you shade like this. So that is basically the front view. I didn't shade that nicely, but yeah, you can do it better than me. Okay, so that is basically the front view. How about the side view? Side view means that you are supposed to look from this side. And again, there's a top, there's a bottom. So there's a top, there is a bottom. And what happened is this cube is on the left instead. Again, is at the bottom left. So at the bottom, left. So this side. Again, this is actually extremely important for you to take note, okay? You must shade it nicely. And this is usually the topic that you can earn many marks, okay? Earn your marks wherever you see this question. So please don't make mistake. Now, the problems comes when it comes to the top view. Teacher, top view, yeah, I can look from the top. But the problem is top, should I look from the front top or from the side top? And that is where you need to actually take note that you are supposed to look at the front and move it to the top. So front top will be like this. Okay. Yes. And I think that's all that you need to know. So when you just browse through the rest of the question, it is almost the same. Okay. It's just that the cubes will be slightly more complicated. Okay. So I think that's all from the notes, and I hope you learned something. Thank you. See you. Bye bye.